So, good morning. So, today's discussion is about role of church in ecology. But before going into specifics about what Christianity can do in solving the ecological crisis, let us discuss about what world religions, all religions, can do solving the ecological crisis. So that is the discussion we are going to do before we entering into what Christianity can do to solve the problem. Understand that? So, Pope Saint John Paul II in Centesimus Annus, in article number 107, writes as follows: the environment is a great repository of natural wealth belonging to all humanity, present and future, freely and equally. Each generation takes the natural environment on loan and must return it after use in as well or better condition as when it was first borrowed. Actually, every religion is a powerful tool to effect good changes for the future. Today, all religions are addressing more consistently and faithfully how to protect God's creation and the environment that sustains the human family and all the earth. So that is the good news. Today, all religions are talking about the conservation of the earth, preserving of species, issue of water, loss of biodiversity, land pollution, water pollution, air pollution, life pollution, noise pollution, mental pollution, etc., etc. So religions are doing a good job. What religions can do, I can give you one example from Christian or church history. In 11th century, almost 1,000 years ago, Crusades. Pope Urban II was the Pope at the time. So it was in November 27, 1095, 1,000 years ago. And in the Council of Clermont, France, Pope Urban is recruiting people from all over Europe to go and fight in the Holy Land, to defend all the holy places, to fight against Islam. There was no internet, there were no phones, there were no WhatsApp, there's no Twitter, there is no modern technology, there is no communication, only verbal. So he could gather almost 60,000 men. Wow, in a shortest amount of time. And in 1099, within 4 years, the first crusade captured Jerusalem. Victory for Christianity. So this is one good example what a religion and the religious leaders can do to bring out some changes. The second example I would like to give you is Martin Luther King Jr. It is not the Martin Luther of the 15th and 16th century during the time of Reformation. No, he is not the one. This one is much later. He is a black American from United States of America. He was a Protestant pastor, and he started civil rights movement, the rights for the equal rights for the black Americans of the United States of America. So you know what? It happened in 1960s. So what happened later on in 2010? Obama, one black man, has become a president of the United States of America. So this is the outcome of entirely religious efforts. He was a pastor, Protestant pastor in the parish, one of the parishes in America. So single-handedly he started, and the result is really overwhelming. So this is what a religious leader like you individually can do. Bring out changes for the common good of the planet. So I think we are all powerful tools in the hands of God. Religion is a powerful tool. One of the famous biologists, evolutionary biologist, Edward O. Wilson, he doesn't believe in God, but still he believes in the power of religion. So his quote is really beautiful. The predisposition to religious belief is the most complex and powerful force in the human mind, in all probability an ineradicable part of human nature. Wow. You can never eradicate religion from our conscious mind. It's going to be a part of our psyche for a long time into the future. Many people want to destroy religion, but you may never succeed destroying religion. The moment you destroy religion, people will find another religion altogether different. So that is what Edward O. Wilson is talking about. St. Francis of Assisi knew better. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, O Lord. You know that prayer too well. Assisi is the peace prayer. So a channel means instrument. So that is what you are. You are 4 instruments in the hands of God, including myself, 5 instruments. So today's problem is environmental, ecological, nothing else. Only one problem stands out among thousands of other problems. It is ecological crisis. That's it. That's it. So we need to give priority to solve ecological crisis. So today, the greenhouse gases filled in the atmosphere. The land is polluted, water is polluted. Actually, there is 415 parts per million in the atmosphere. That means it is the volume of greenhouse gases. So it is in full volume. You know, in the tape recorder, you put a full volume means there will be jarring, distortion. It's not pleasant. So that is what parts per million means. So 415 parts per million means it is unbearable. Your eardrum is breaking. So that is what the analogy is all about. So here we are in a dangerous situation. We have crossed the safety line. We can't really bring it down. It has gone beyond our control. No technology can control, no spirituality can control, no politics can control. It is out of our hands. So that is what the parts per million, when I talk about it has crossed 415 parts per million. This graph shows some 10-15 years ago when it was only 370 or 85 parts per million. It's an old graph, but now it has crossed 415. This is also an old statistics. There was 935 billion tons of carbon in the atmosphere, only 55 billion tons to go. I'm talking about some 2015 So this is the statistics which was processed at that time. So even if you put 8 billion tons per year, maybe we had the time of 10 or 13 years. So I think we lost that time also. 2005 means already 15 years. So now we have already crossed even the safety line, even the reserve of our ability to pollute, that is 55 billion tons, we crossed that. So I think here also it has gone beyond our control. And we have crossed the safety line. So this is sad scenario. This is the contributions to global warming by countries. America leads the way, and then comes Europe, then comes Russia, then comes India. 12.2% pollution we do on the global level. And also this is also 2010 graph, but already 10 years now. So India is coming to the second place now. We are polluting China and India 27.7%. So India has got, now it's standing on the second polluting level. So that is not a good news. It's a very bad news. So we need to really see, judge, act. There are no other choices here. And evidence is so clear. And when evidence is pointing out that we have already crossed the safety line, you are still saying Mass, you are still saying rosaries, you are still chanting. So you do that, don't stop it. But at the same time, what you should do, only 50% of the truth you are celebrating. What about this truth? We are simply sitting and we are spectators watching. So we need to enter. After all, this is God's creation. It's under threat. It is endangered. God's creation is under attack. Somebody is attacking God's kingdom. Its earth systems are under attack. Humans are under attack. Other life forms are under attack. Panchabhutas, elements are under attack. God created everything and He found everything was good. But now everything looks bad. So are we going to close our eyes like a cat? Or are we going to open and you are going to involve in the pain of Mother Earth? So this is our choice today. So if you are a real steward, one who cares, Mother Earth with responsibility, faithfulness and accountability, you can't sit down and watch. Everybody has to jump in and do something about it. This is how our Mother Earth looked some 50 years ago. Green. Planet Earth looked so green. Look in India, how green it was 50 years ago. Now, everything disappeared. The green cover disappeared from the face of the earth. India looks white. 50 years ago, India looked green, and the world looked green. Just in the time period of 50 years, green disappeared, brown or white color has emerged. All the trees have gone, deforestation. John Muir beautifully wrote in the last century about felling trees or cutting trees or about deforestation. He was feeling sad for the trees. God has cared for these trees, saved them from drought, disease, avalanches, and 1,000 tempests and floods. but he cannot save them from food. You know who is the fool? Us. God saved from terrible elements, typhoon, disease, avalanche, but he cannot save them from these human hands, from a human fool. That is a brilliant quote. So when you look around all these evidences or data processed by scientific community, how can you sit down there? Hypocrites. You know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. How is it that you don't know how to interpret this present time? Jesus was desperate. So we read it in the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 12, 54 to 56. So that tells us about a sense of awareness and urgency. Very urgent. But today, humans, they don't really get it. Or at least they act as if they don't understand. Yes. Even if they understand, they act as if they don't understand. Because if you understand, you have to act. So they are afraid to act. So they immediately manipulate their ideas. I don't understand. Yes. I didn't know. Very easy. So that is what we have been doing. Even religions, especially Christianity, for the past 2000 years, just said, I don't know, we don't know. Never came and did something to save environment. Only for the past 5-10 years, we are trying to bring this knowledge to the priests, bishops, and to the laity. Unfortunately, we committed that mistake. So that scenario is known as the creeping normalcy. What is a creeping normalcy? If you throw a frog into a pan of boiling water, it jumps out as fast as possible to escape. However, if instead you place a frog in a pan of cold water and then heat the water very, very slowly, the frog acclimatizes to the slow increase in temperature and never tries to escape until it is eventually boiled alive. That is called creeping normalcy. So all the people on the planet, they are struck with this disease called creeping normalcy. They simply acclimatize to everything. It's okay. Especially religious people. It is not my problem. God will solve all the problems. What we want is just say Mass, pray Rosary, and do meditation, do some chanting. God will save everything. So that is creeping normalcy. You know that you are going to be boiled alive. Maybe you are going to say Rosary, you are boiled exactly praying Rosary. You say Mass, you are boiled alive. Whatever you have been doing, you will be boiled alive. As Jesus put it, no, the day will come like a thief, and you will not be allowed to shift from your action. You will be frozen in that framework. That's it. Jesus warned in the Gospels, you know that. The man, when he is sitting on the rooftop, he is not going to come down. He is going to be roasted alive on the rooftop. See? So creeping normalcy is very dangerous. I think 8 billion people on the planet is struck, infected with creeping normalcy, not with corona. So this is the new disease. Creeping normalcy, CN virus. We can call it CN virus. So actually we need a paradigm shift. from sustainable development to sustainable retreat, man-centered philosophy to nature-centered philosophies, anthropocentric motives to anthrocentric denials, capitalism to egalitarian existence, consumption to conservation, these kind of shifts. There had been three paradigm shifts in the history of humankind. One is 500 BC, it is called axial age. The second shift was Jesus Christ, who came to establish the kingdom of God. The third was Renaissance and Reformation. There comes Martin Luther. And the fourth one is, I call it, second axial age, where we are going to come out of creeping normalcy. The second axial age is nothing but just you act like a stewards. You realize your role in creation. You are called to be a stewards of Mother Earth. So that is the second axial age. Awakening of stewardship, enlightenment, birth of new consciousness, where you understand that I am a steward. All the 8 billion people on the planet are stewards. So in all these paradigm shifts, religion played a very important role. So actually this axial age concept was proposed by writer Karl Jasper around 800 to 500 BCE, flowered within Hinduism itself. Buddhism and Jainism, Zoroastrianism in Persia, great prophets addressed the nation of Israel, and Taoism and Confucianism became established in China. So that is the first axial age. You know, axial age means in a car or a bus, underneath there is an axis. So on the axis, all the parts are fitted. So see there, in the axis, all religions. Axis was a 800 BC to 500 BC timeline where religions have been fixed like parts. So that is known as the axial age. Second shift was Jesus Christ, a kingdom of God based on justice and peace, a kingdom of truth and life, a kingdom of holiness and grace, a kingdom of justice, love and peace. So this is what he came to create. So that was a great paradigm shift. Before that, there was only some religions maybe talking about very, very simple things in life, like death, like suffering, like greed, maybe they didn't want to stay in family life. They want to retreat into desert in order to find God or find enlightenment. But Jesus came and he told, no, you don't have to go to desert. You can stay in your own family and then you can still find enlightenment and fulfillment. And also Jesus told, you need not escape any suffering. You should engage suffering and you encounter suffering. So he taught suffering is a resource. But before that, the great masters taught suffering is very bad. You should escape suffering. But Jesus told, no, engage suffering. So see, it's a different kind of teaching. The second shift was really very, very different approach to life altogether. Third shift happened, Crusades, feudal Europe, Renaissance, and Reformation. So the religion split. The mainstream Catholic religion was split into many fractions. Actually, third shift was an attempt to address the problems of Crusades, feudal Europe, to solve the problems and to find some answers for them. So that is the third shift. So now there are a lot of problems. The colonization, slavery, industrial revolution, world war, Holocaust, global warming, climate change we are facing right now. So all those three shifts, they are not working well to solve problems. So we need a new shift, a new philosophy or theology or new practical approach. So today, science and technology is dominating, globalization is dominating, but yet we are not happier. We have everything, but we are not happy. So in Mater et Magistra, it was an encyclical written in 1961, which is translated Mother and Teacher. So in that, in the paragraph number 198, actually Pope writes as follows: "We are sick at heart. We are shown the fearful spectre of want and misery which threatens to extinguish human life. And on the other hand, we find scientific discoveries, technical inventions, and economic resources being used to provide terrible instruments of ruin and death." See, in 1961, Pope is really writing about what the international community was doing. They were not at all worried about saving Mother Earth or human family. Instead of that, they were creating bombs, nuclear weapons, completely factories. They were not really assessing the reality, what was going on in their environment. So, by providing all this science and technology, they were destroying the future of our generations. They were depleting resources as if nobody is going to come after them. So they never had a concern for the future humanity. So now, fourth shift, what do we understand about it? Actually, I would call it, it is a convergence of all religions and politics. The first shift was the divergence. You know, all the religions, as I mentioned, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, all departed. Okay? It's a divergence of religions. But here is the convergence. So all the religions, those who went in the first shift, first axial age, departed from in the first axial age, they are all coming back in the second axial age. They are coming back with rich experience. We can imagine that they are all coming to Aanmodhaya Ashram in Kancheepuram. It is about 2,500 years ago they all went. Now they are all with rich experience, with treasures. They are coming back. They have got experience, they have got resources, they have got insights, they have got enlightenment, awakening to solve problems this time. They are all very strong. They are very genuine. So they can do it. So that is what the hope we are getting now. Convergence of all religions and also politics. So this is our generational mission. I mean, if I say, which is the biggest mission, it is not evangelizing the whole world. It is not even going to moon or Mars. I think fixing the ecological crisis, what we are facing right now. Otherwise, we all will disappear. So I think this is the mother of all the missions. So it is called human generational mission. So all the humans are involved. Almost, I would say, 200 billion humans from the beginning till the end. So now we are 8 billion. So if you add up all the humans, it will be like 200 billion humans altogether. So everybody is taking in this effort. Human achievements, not science and technology. That is what we realize. Today everybody knows our pride doesn't consist in science and technology, but becoming empathetic. Human species is more merciful. It's a species of mercy, empathy, compassion, humble, simple. Becoming that and finding ourselves, yesterday I was talking about that human ecology, what you have inside. Didn't I tell you? Inside human ecology, that is the realizing your potentiality. That is our generational mission. We are not looking outside for our fulfillment. We are looking inside, each and every one of us, and take those resources and give to others, give to Mother Earth. Show empathy, digging your own human resources and sharing with Mother Earth. That is the generational mission. Becoming human is the generational mission. You become more human when you find your human resources inside. So far you have never looked human resources inside. This is the first time we are looking inside. So that is, becoming human is very important. Moving towards a golden age of humanity. So this is what I would call golden age of humanity. So we all should create that. At last, now we are joining hands with the science. See, the science is telling the same thing on your right hand side. See the scientist? He holds the book called Global Warming. He says, the end is near. Look at the Bible. Who is holding the Bible? Religion. He is also saying, the end is near. At last, science and religion agree after 500 years of misunderstanding. So now it is a coalition, very strong coalition. So now lot of things happened in the international stage, starting from 1992. Religion also joined with politics. Many United Nations conventions have taken place, almost 10 to 20 of them. 10 major ones, 10 minor ones. So here what we are talking about is Earth Summit. That is United Nations Earth Summit, convened in 1992 in Brazil. In 1992, more than 100 heads of the state met in Rio de Janeiro, first International Earth Summit. Environmental protection and socio-economic development was the focus on their discussion. Leaders also signed the Convention on Biological Diversity about conserving all life on Earth, preserving Earth systems. Lot of good things came out. The important word which defined all of their activities was sustainable development. That is the word they really coined, sustainable development. From that time onwards, it was used in every discussions about ecology and environment. Actually, sustainable development meaning comes from the Bible. You know, Genesis chapter 2:15, till it and keep it. You know, many times I referred that text to you. Remember that? Till it and keep it. That means use it, don't abuse it. That is the meaning of sustainable development. So at last, all the politics, completely they are coming to the biblical mindset. At last, whole world is following God's mandate. God gave you in the beginning of the creation, when He created first humans, He told, till it and keep it. Live sustainably, in other words. Follow sustainable development. That means you use the resources, at the same time, keep them in working condition for the future generations. That is the meaning of sustainable development. So now whole world is talking about only Bible. Only Bible. See how things happened. Then came Kyoto Protocol. That was the second United Nations Convention in 1997. They discussed about global warming and mitigation of greenhouse gases. And yes, it was a very good convention. There was a great substantial outcome from this convention. That was beautiful. I think one of the good convention happened in the history of human race was Kyoto, Japan Protocol, United Nations Convention in 1997. Also, they discussed about sustainable development. That is the word which was used all the time. Then came United Nations Convention in Copenhagen, Denmark, which was a disappointing experience. Politics, religion, all failed in this convention. Actually, now religion has to think otherwise. So only religion has the future now. At least they can make a difference, because politics disappointed. Politics failed. So that was the disgusting international effort which did not yield any positive results. Then came Durban, South Africa, 2011. They also discussed about sustainable development. And first they told we should never allow the temperature to increase more than 2 degrees at the turn of the century. In other words, in 2100, there will be 2 degrees Celsius increase. That means very dangerous. But actually many people say 4 degrees will be increasing. But now at least United Nations was very cautious and told 2 degrees. So let us not allow more than, that was the first clause. The second was, for the first time will require the big emerging economy, China, India and Brazil, to make legally binding commitments. Because these are the countries who pollute more in the international market today. China, India, Brazil. So Durban Protocol wanted to commit these 3-4 countries to come under a law. You are not going to pollute more than what we tell you. So that kind of guidelines was provided. And the third was established a new green climate fund, will provide vital support to the poor countries to reduce their emissions and adapt to the climate change they are already experiencing. So the international community, they gave money to the countries, those who can't really cope up with their own environmental problems. For example, if I can't pay for my own factory, the new instruments which pollute less, I am depending on old technology which pollutes more. So now international community will give you money to buy the new equipment, so you will not pollute more. So that is the third clause is all about. They established funding and they have been given funding all over the world to keep pollution level low. So good things came out from Durban Protocol, which happened in South Africa in 2011. Then came Paris Summit in 2015, actually, it is not 2005, all right? That is the time when Pope Francis wrote his encyclical Laudato Si. So it was a major event. Laudato Si played a very important role in Paris Summit in 2015, and also International Panel on Climate Change, known as IPCC, in 2007 submitted a report. In that also they told that it's going to be more than 2 degrees Celsius increase by the turn of the 2100, and there will be lot of extinction, 40 to 70% of life at risk of going extinct, and also ecosystems productivity will collapse, and population will increase, but the food production will become less and less, and ice will be melting and sea level will increase. All these scenarios was presented by IPCC. It is not a good news. It is a very, very bad news for the whole planet.